great in the arcade.
Gaming has been around for decades. From simple dots on a screen to lifelike open worlds. From cartridges to cloud streaming. We've played on TVs, handhelds, phones, and even in VR. But before the blockbusters, before the billion-dollar industry,
this week, Grand Theft Auto 5 pulled in $1 billion in sales in 3 days.
It all started with just a screen, a dot, and a dream. Welcome to the evolution of consoles. This is part 1, the birth of gaming. Our journey begins not in Silicon Valley or Tokyo, but in a quiet physics lab on Long Island, New York. It's 1958, the Cold War is tense. People are anxious about the future, and science is both feared and admired. At Brookhaven's National Laboratory, physicist William Higinbotham is preparing for the lab's annual exhibit. A chance to show the public that science can be engaging, even fun. Most exhibits were static, flashing machines, technical readouts, things to look at but not to interact with. But Higinbotham had another idea. He built something people could play. With a lab screen and some clever wiring, he created Tennis for Two. A two-player game where a bright dot bounces across a screen, like a simple game of tennis. There were no colors, no sound, no graphics as we know them, just a glowing ball and two paddles made of light. It wasn't much, but people loved it. Crowds lined up to take a turn. Without knowing it, they were playing the world's first real video game. After the event, the machine was disassembled and put into storage, almost forgotten. But that bouncing dots was more than just a game, it was the beginning of a revolution. A few years later, across the country at MIT, a new generation of tech-savvy students took things a step further. In 1962, they created Space War, a digital battle between two spaceships spinning and firing around a central star. Built on a massive PDP-1 computer, it was one of the first video games to run in real time with interactive controls. Unlike Tennis for Two, Space War was coded entirely in software. A major shift that opened a door to endless possibilities. The ships had limited fuel and ammunition. Gravity affected the movement, strategy mattered. It even featured a two-player competitive mode, with each player trying to outmaneuver and destroy the other. It wasn't just about reaction time, you had to think. The game spread across university campuses and early computing labs. It couldn't be bought, but if you had access to the hardware, chances were someone had a copy. It was a hit in tech circles and became a cult classic, inspiring future developers and laying the groundwork for competitive multiplayer gameplay. The idea was spreading. Computers could be fun and addictive. By 1972, the dream of playing games at home became a reality. Engineer Ralph H. Baer, often called the father of video games, had been working on home gaming concepts since the 60s. That year, his idea became the Magnavox Odyssey, the world's first home video game console. The Odyssey was a curious machine. It had no microprocessor, no sound, and no true graphics. Instead, it used analog circuitry to generate a dot and a line on the screen. Players stuck transparent plastic overlays to their TV to simulate different environments. A tennis court, a haunted house, a roulette table. It came packaged with cards, game pieces, even dice. It was part video game, part board game. Games like table tennis let the players move paddles and control a bouncing light. It wasn't flashy, but it was revolutionary. Magnavox sold over 300,000 units. It proved there was a market for gaming in the home, and it paved the way for everything that followed. That same year, a young engineer named Nolan Bushnell founded a new company you might have heard of, Atari. Inspired by Space War, he and his team, including engineer Alec Alcorn, developed PONG, a coin-operated arcade game that turned table tennis into an electronic sport. Simple, addictive, and it worked. The prototype was placed in a bar, Andy's Cab Tavern, and broke down within days. Not because of malfunction, but because the coin box was overflowing. Arcades and bars quickly filled with Pong machines. It became a sensation. In 1975, Atari released Home Pong, a standalone console that brought the arcade hit into people's living rooms. It was a smash hit during the holiday season. Atari's success created a tidal wave. Companies like Coleco, Radio Shack, and Magnavox began producing their own versions. The market was suddenly full of Pong clones. From the Coleco Telstar series to the Nintendo Color TV games, the mid-70s became the era of single game or multi-game dedicated consoles. Each device played a small handful of variations on Pong, shooting or racing games. But as fun as Pong was, players were starting to want more. More variety, more complexity, and most importantly, more control over what they could play. And that desire would lead to the next great leap. In 1976, the Fairchild Channel hit the market and introduced something groundbreaking: game cartridges. For the first time, players weren't stuck with the same built-in games. They could buy new ones and expand their library. It also used the microprocessor, the Fairchild F8, which meant the console could handle more complex operations and varied gameplay mechanics. The Channel F didn't sell as well as its competitors, but its influence was monumental. It introduced the very idea of swappable games, a core part of gaming that continues to this day. Then came Atari's next big move. In 1977, they launched the Atari Video Computer System, soon renamed to Atari 2600. It was sleek, stylish, and used cartridges. It also had a joystick controller that felt intuitive and satisfying to use. At first, sales were slow, but everything changed when Atari secured the rights to port the arcade hit Space Invaders to the 2600. That one game was a massive spike in console sales. Suddenly, kids could experience the arcade at home. The Atari 2600 dominated the market and became a cultural icon. It marked the true beginning of gaming as a household experience. As Atari blazed the trail, it didn't take long for others to follow. In 1979, toy giant Mattel decided to enter the home gaming race with the release of the Intellivision, short for Intelligent Television. While Atari had quantity, Mattel aimed for quality. Intellivision offered better visuals, richer sound, and even more sophisticated gameplay for its time. Characters had defined shapes, animations were smoother, and the system even supported a futuristic add-on, a voice module that allowed games to speak.
Mattel Electronics presents P17 PONG.
Its controller, a circular disc, and number pads with game-specific overlays. A bit chunky, yes, but innovative. Mattel's aggressive advertising campaign directly compared its games to Atari's. Commercials showed Intellivision's baseball game side by side with Atari's, highlighting the improved graphics and gameplay. And it worked. Intellivision carved out a loyal fanbase, and the console sold millions of units. Next came Coleco, a company best known for its plastic toys and electric football games. In 1982, they launched the Coleco Vision, and it turned heads. Right out of the box, Coleco Vision came packed with something huge: Donkey Kong, one of the most popular arcade games of its time. and not a watered down version. This was the best home port available, hands down. Graphically, ColecoVision pushed home gaming closer to the arcade than ever before. Games looked sharp, colorful and polished. It supported a wide range of accessories too, including a steering wheel, a roller controller and even a module that played Atari 2600 games. Yes, ColecoVision let you play Atari games.
And ColecoVision is an expandable system. Plug in the first expansion module and play all Atari VCS compatible cartridges.
That gave it access to a massive existing library. ColecoVision was powerful, forward-thinking and posed for dominance. But the entire industry was heading toward dangerous territory. By 1983, the gaming boom had become a gold rush. And like many gold rushes, it spiraled out of control. Every company wanted in, new consoles flooded the market. The market was oversaturated with too many platforms, too many games and very little quality control. The result? Confusion, frustration and disappointment. One game, more than any other, came to symbolize this crash. E.T. the Extraterrestrial for the Atari 2600. Rushed through development in just over 5 weeks to meet the Christmas deadline. The game was confusing, buggy and, for many players, unplayable. Atari had banked on E.T. being a hit. They manufactured millions of cartridges and couldn't sell most of them. Truckloads of unsold games were famously buried in a New Mexico landfill. A story so unbelievable it was considered an urban legend, until it was confirmed decades later. But it wasn't just E.T. Consumers were overwhelmed by cheap, repetitive games and frustrated by its incompatible hardware. Major retailers began pulling game consoles off shelves. Sales plummeted. In just a matter of months, North American video game industry collapsed. Companies went bankrupt. Atari, once a symbol of gaming, laid off employees and posted massive losses. Magnavox faded out. Coleco disappeared completely. Even Mattel left the industry. It was a crash, not just of a market, but of public trust. Critics declared gaming a past fad. Parents stopped buying consoles, and the golden age of video games seemed to be over. But it wasn't. It was just the beginning. So, from a clicking tennis ball in a lab to packed arcades, living room battles and a market gone wild, the first era of console gaming was about innovation, imagination and a whole lot of trial and error. It was messy and brilliant, and it gave us the foundation of everything we love today. But as one chapter closed, another is waiting to begin. Because on the other side of the Pacific, a company from Japan was preparing to enter the fray. A company that would resurrect the gaming industry and ignite a rivalry that shaped a generation. This has been the evolution of consoles part 1. I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and next week part 2 will release. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye everyone.